Hey guys, what's up? I want to talk about something serious. Just talk about something serious. Have you ever wondered why things happen to you? Have you ever wondered that? Because sometimes I do think of that. I'm like, wow, why does this stuff happen to me? And then again, you don't think, you always think that sometimes your deity has it out for you, or the heavens are conspiring against you, or whatever. Did you ever think that maybe, and just maybe, your actions have a hand in the reason why you go through some problems? I know it's a weird concept, but just think about this. I remember me being like 14, 15 years old. Way back in the day, I was studying martial arts. My dad got sick and tired of me getting my ass kicked by kids. So he figured that if I learned some martial arts, I'd be able to kick some kids' asses. It's that way of thinking. And so what happened was my teacher sometimes not only he did he teach you martial arts, but he taught you the philosophy behind the martial arts, why you do certain moves, why you do this, why you do that, why. He sat me down. He says, "Do you know why you here?" And I go, "My dad told me I need. My dad told me to do this to help, so I won't get so help, to help protect myself." He goes, "No, that's not why you're here." Do you know why you're here? And I'm like, "No, I don't know." I'm saying, "No, I don't." Let me tell you why. You get in fights. You try to avoid fights, but the fights keep coming to you. And why do you avoid these fights? Because you know you will not win those fights. Every time a fight comes to you, you know you're not going to win. So what happens? You try to run away. Your dad sees that, not recognizing that you running away is a sign of strength and not giving in. Because even if you went and fought that person or people, there's no guarantee you will win. So he basically wanted you to fight. He wanted you to be able to fight back. And that is technically the wrong reason why you're here. But since he's paying me to teach you, I'm going to teach you anyway. A good portion of your problems, you have a small percentage of everything that happens to it. A small percentage. I said, well, these kids want to fight me. What did I do? It's not necessarily what you've done. I say you are a part of it. The only reason why they want to fight you is because one, they know they can beat you. They want to assert dominance over you because you don't. To them, you're not a threat. And since you're not a threat, since you're not a threat, that's how they know they can bully you. You refuse, you run away, whatever. And so they know that. So that's why they keep antagonizing it. But the fun thing is when you step up, if you step up one day and you actually do something about it, their moods will change. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. About a year later, I actually got into a fight. I stepped up, my dad was one of those kind of people was like, some kids step up to you, you step up to them, you fight them. Otherwise, they're going to walk all over you. So this kid stepped up to me, and of course, everybody's making a big ass noise outside about it. And I stood my ground. I was like, I stood my ground this time. Because, hey, I know some martial arts. I know how to beat people up. I know what I can do. We, I tussled the kid. I tried to kick him in the face, and I missed. That gave him the opening to take me down and beat the shit out of me. My dad looks up. I stood up for myself, but I got my ass kicked. He was like, what the hell am I paying this guy to teach you how to fight if you're getting your ass kicked? Okay. I looked up and I was like, what the fuck? But then again, I was part of that. Even though the kid wanted to fight me, I was a part of it because the kid thought I was weak. Now I fight back. They didn't want to fight me too much. They didn't want to. They still test me sometimes, but they didn't want to fight back. They didn't want me to fight. In life, a lot of us do things, and when it's bad things happen, we don't understand why. For example, one time I got fired from a job. Yeah, I got fired from a job once. Yeah, sure did. Now, mind you, I think I told this story before when I worked at an arcade in the mall. I wrote down my schedule. No problem. So I said, you know what? Since I have a paper that's due, and I need to work on this paper. So I need to go to the library to work on this paper. So I go work on this paper in the library. My boss called me 3 times, left me 3 messages. I didn't get back till like 9 o'clock at night. Basically, what he did, he fired me and went on vacation. So when I went to, thing is, I'm like, okay, well, I'll see him tomorrow. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck that's all about. That's not my schedule. Went in the next day, the guy was like, you don't work here anymore. I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, bullshit. And he was like, dude, he fired you. I'm like, dude, I wrote my schedule down, and he said, that schedule, he said, you probably changed it at the last second. You probably changed it at the last second. See, before, I wish we had cell phones like I'm filming here now. I wish I had cell phones. That way I could take a picture of it to prove that to prove it. But, obviously it's just your word against his. And so what happened was, when he came back, I was like, I'm like, no, I wrote my schedule down. Unless you changed it without telling me. He goes, no, I didn't change your schedule. I'm like, now here's the problem. That's a normal, basic thing that could happen. Did I write my schedule down wrong, or did he change it? Who knows? But that's an obvious thing. But here's the question: why would you fire me over it? So I'm like, wait, there's one person that was doing that scheduled work, never showed up, and he showed up a couple days later, and they let him keep going. Well, let's see. I said, where's my fault in this? Well, I asked for a raise. I was forceful in asking for a raise. I was forceful in speaking up for myself, and because of that, I was labeled a troublemaker, so he fired me. He found an excuse to fire me, and he did. Okay, not a problem. That's my fault in it. What can you do about that? Nothing you can do. Right? Right. I remember another time. Oh, better yet, here's a more recent time in the last couple years. My Jimmy. I went to work. I try to keep repairs on the Jimmy as much as I possibly could. Okay. I was driving around. I went to work. It was a Saturday. I went to work Saturday, got off, went to a Best Buy to pick up some movies. I think I picked up Justice League that day. Yes, I did. It was Justice League was one of the movies. I forgot what other movie I picked up, but I picked up Justice League because that's the only thing I can remember. Wait, was it Justice League? Yes, it was Justice League. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It was something else. Sorry, it wasn't Justice League at all. But anyway, I picked up a movie. I was driving on my way home. And I was on the freeway. I was on here. Pop! I was like, what the fuck was that? My speed went down from 60 miles to 40. I was like, oh shoot. Oh shoot. And so, I made it home, no problem. I was like, man, what the fuck happened? So maybe, I let the engine cool down. Maybe I said, checked my fluids. And I looked up and I was like, okay, something's not right here. Start the car up again, driving. I couldn't go more than 40. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Called my mechanic. He says, check the transmission fluid. Bone dry. He goes, yep, that's what it is. Put some transmission fluid in there and hopefully that will work. Thing is, I didn't realize there was a leak in my transmission fluid. I was leaking transmission fluid. I didn't realize that because transmission is self-contained. It's self-contained. Since it's self-contained, it should not really burn out. It's my theory about that was, and that's what he told me. But because of the fact that I never thought about checking the transmission fluid or checking the transmission at all, even after having 300,000 miles on it, it popped. So basically, that happened because that was on me. Same thing like when 20 some years ago, I blew a rod in my engine because I didn't change the oil. Yeah, that's how I learned a lot about keeping your cars. Because of stupid stuff like that. Because of my negligence, that happens. Now, and sometimes you forget things like that, and sometimes you don't. I remember one time I got in trouble at work. It was no big deal. Not like I'm really in trouble, but I did get in trouble. Some guy said something. Well, this is what art does. Okay. So I remember at our meeting, we had a staff meeting, and my boss says, "Well, Art, I was told that you do this a certain way, and that's not how we're supposed to do things." I'm like, I said, "Oh, we're not supposed to do things that way? You didn't tell me how we're supposed to do things." Of course, my boss didn't know how because the boss didn't know. But she called me out because I called her out in a meeting. I got reprimanded for it, of course, because of the fact that I got reprimanded because I did something. Then when it found out that I was actually right, then we looked at the rules and regulations and then realized I was right. I was still in trouble. I said, well, since you knew I was right, you should counteract that reprimand. No, because you spoke out, because you did this. Okay, fine. Because I spoke out, I got reprimanded, even though I was right. Okay. Sometimes these things, like these examples I use, it doesn't make sense at times, but then again, it kind of does when you think about it. When you do something, either passively or aggressively or actively, sometimes it could happen against you. But anyway, sometimes we got to be careful about what we do. Sometimes when things happen to us, it's because we had a hand in it. And because we had a hand in it, you got to know how to navigate it and surpass it. Every time when something happens to me, I looked up, I was like, before when I was 20 some years old, I was pissed off, mad at the world. In my 30s, I looked up and I was like, okay, what could I have done right? What could I have done differently? What could I have done? Okay, so mental note for next time, do that. So that way I don't get in those same kind of situations. But anyway, basic bottom line is that whenever something bad happens to you, you do have a hand in it. It just may not be actively. It's just probably some kind of inaction or just you're being in the proximity of things. So when stuff like that happens, just don't take it to heart. Just take the situation. I know sometimes you want to be in that moment, but take a step back and look at it from the outside. And then you look up and say, okay, I see the situation. What could I have done? Okay. Will this really hurt me in the future? Will this or is this one of those been there, done that kind of shit? If it's one gonna be one of those been there, done that kind of shit, just let the shit go and just move on. Use it as a learning experience. Yeah, sometimes I hate saying shit like this, but sometimes that's on my chest, and I kind of had to let it out. So I want to thank you for listening to me for at least 16 to 18 minutes of me flapping my mouth. So if you think what I said was kind of true, let me know down below. If you think what I'm saying is false, let me down below. Let me know what you think about this. All right. With that being said, let me get on doing what I got to do for the rest of the day, and let you get on with your rest of your day. All right. Talk to you later.